Hi everyone, and welcome to our third drip marketing tutorial. If you remember yesterday, we went ahead and we built an online form that we can use to have people register and that will activate our marketing automation process. Today what we want to do is go ahead and start creating the marketing automation process. So in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and log into CMS Desk. And within CMS Desk, I'm going to go into the Online Marketing tab, and I'm going to select Processes. Within this, we can go ahead and create a new process, which is the marketing automation process that we're going to build out. I'm going to give the display name for my marketing automation to be campaign_drip, and then we'll go ahead and save this. I'm going to leave this to run always as a new instance. Two main areas that we do want to think about. First is the idea of triggers. Triggers is how the process is going to be activated. And in our case, we're going to go ahead and activate it based on someone completing the online form that we built yesterday. After we do that, we can go ahead and build steps. And steps are what's used to go ahead and define the actual marketing automation process. So within our Triggers tab, I'm going to select New Trigger. I'm going to define a display name as Sign Up. I'm going to select the type to be an activity performed. Our activity type, as you can see, we have a pretty broad range. What we want to pick is a form submission. And then let's go ahead and set our condition. This brings up our rule designer, and as you see, we've got a pretty long list of different activities that we can select within our rule. For what we want to do here, I want to select form submission for form, and as you can see, this basically defines it as the activity form submission was performed for, and if we click our select form, we can click our drop down and select our drip campaign and then select OK. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and select OK. And once we select Save, we have connected our form into our marketing automation process. Now, of course, we haven't defined any steps. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to select our Steps tab that you see here. Within our Steps tab, this is where we're going to define the actual marketing automation process. We're going to start with a simple process and then look to build it up a little bit and add in more steps. What we're going to do is you'll notice that we start with a start and a finish. So this defines the outer boundaries of how we think about our process. I'm going to drag a wait state on here. And what happens is the wait state basically will allow the process to wait or to hang for a certain period of time. I'm going to drag our red arrow over and I'm going to start to connect this into our process. So right now, what I have built is a very simple process that does a start, and the process will start, and then the first step is basically a wait. If I select the Edit Step Properties for the wait, what this will do is it will allow me to define the timeout settings. So I'm going to keep this simple, and I'm just going to select 2 hours, and then we'll hit our Save button, and then we'll go ahead and close this out. So really what we've got here is a marketing automation process that once the user completes the form, they become a contact. That contact then gets fed into the marketing automation process, and basically the contact will sit in the wait state for 2 hours and then move to finished. While this isn't all that exciting, let's actually take a look at how this will work so that we can make sure that everything is wired up together, and then we can go ahead and expand it out and actually add in our business logic steps. In order to test this, let's go ahead and bring up an instance of Google Chrome, as you can see here, and then we'll go ahead and go in and complete our form. The thing I do want to call out, and it is something you do want to remember, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete out any cookies that I may have in this browser. EMS will actually store cookies local, so you do want to keep in mind that as you're testing this, deleting your cookies becomes important. Otherwise, you're not creating a new contact. So now that I've gone ahead and I've cleared out my cookies, let's go ahead and enter our local host, Kentico CMS 7. And within our site, we're going to go ahead and complete our drip marketing online form that we built yesterday. So for a first name, we'll use Joe, and our last name we'll use Joe Brown, and we'll use Joe at Kentico.com. I'll go ahead and click OK, which will then submit Joe in as a contact. And then once they're a contact, this should then go ahead and add them into the marketing automation process, where they'll be sitting within that wait state. We can go ahead and validate this using two different areas. First, let's hop over to our contacts. And you'll notice that we have a new contact called Joe Brown that's here. Joe is officially a contact within our system. Now that we see that Joe's a contact, let's go back over to our automation tab that you see here. I'm going to select our campaign drip, which is our process, and I can select our contacts tab. And as you can see, Joe is currently part of our drip marketing process. He's signed up for it and he's active, and he's basically in a wait state now for 2 hours until he goes ahead and finishes it. The other thing I do want to call out and make sure that you understand is that you not only can have people enter by completing a trigger, but you can also have people enter manually. So for example, if I've decided that I wanted to add in someone, I do this by selecting new process and then basically go ahead and select the contact that appears. And as you can see, Andrew Brown is currently now in this wait state as well. Within our contacts, we have a couple of options. One is we can manage the process, and this basically allows me to see where they are within the process and manage if I want to move them to the next step or to a previous step. Also, this gives me a lot of abilities to make sure that I can understand where that contact is and be able to manage them through the process. So maybe if I don't want them to get another email or the next email in the sequence. The other is, if we go back to our contacts, we also have the ability to view the contact details. So this allows me to see what information we have stored as part of that particular contact. We can take a look at the report, and the report allows me to look at the number of contacts that are there, and it's also nice because I can do things like subscribe. So if I wanted to get a report of how many contacts or status of what's going on, I can subscribe to it and have it sent to me via email. So stay tuned for our next video where we're going to actually expand out our marketing automation process, and we're going to look at how we can send emails to people that are part of that process.